the gentleman from California, Mr. Garamendi, is recognized for 60 minutes as the designee of the Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're back, and America expects that we ought to be going back to work, and we have a heavy load ahead of us. We want to make sure that every American has the opportunity to climb up that economic and social ladder as high as they want and can go. So we have to make sure that those ladders of opportunity are in place. We also have to make sure that we are a compassionate nation, that we're willing to reach out to those in our country who have been harmed by devastating natural disasters. We certainly saw this on the East Coast, and I'd like to spend a good portion of this hour talking about how we as a nation can respond to Superstorm Sandy and the lessons that we should learn from this disaster. It's not the first that has occurred in America, and it's certainly not going to be the last. In the previous disasters, we learned a few lessons, but it seems as though we have yet to achieve the necessary wisdom from those occurrences to really put in place the policies that can protect Americans. First, our sense of compassion drives Americans to reach out in many different ways to assist those on the East Coast that were so severely harmed by this storm. Our condolences go out to the families of those who were killed in the storm. Our wallets open to the American Red Cross and other organizations that are providing assistance. And we should do that, and we should do more of that. But as a Congress, there are things that we must also do. Proposals have been made on this floor to reduce the effectiveness and the support for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Not a good idea. It's very clear from the disaster on the East Coast that a single city or state or even a region is unable to adequately address in the lead up to a disaster where there is warning, or in the immediate aftermath of that, the necessary resources to assist and to recover. And so as a nation, we need some mechanism to gather together all of the strength of this incredible country we call America and apply that strength to those that have been so severely harmed by that disaster. And that's occurring. FEMA has clearly been significantly improved in the last 4 years, and certainly since the tragedies of New Orleans. But there's much more that needs to be done, and as a Congress, as representatives of the American people, people who may be in any part of this country and at any moment could be affected by a disaster, we need to make sure that there is a national response capability in place, ready to act with the sufficient resources. And that's not just an organizational and administrative issue, that is also the necessary funds available. Shortchanging that money that we set aside for those disasters can lead to a period of time in which inaction is inevitable. And so as we go about our budgeting, as we go about our appropriations process, we must make sure that we do not shortchange and that we provide enough money, set it aside, have it there available for immediate response. And it's not just the federal response, it's those private companies and others that will be hired by the federal government or the state and cities to provide the necessary services. There are many other lessons to be learned from Superstorm Sandy and from its previous disasters. Early warning systems are essential. Yet, we have seen proposals here before the Congress and the budgets and appropriations before the Congress to diminish the ability of America to see ahead, to be able to predict storms or earthquakes or fires by diminishing the money available for NASA in their satellite technology and other research capabilities that are out there, where we can learn well ahead of a disaster, that it's coming, that we can then warn the citizens, take whatever precautions are necessary, and whatever defensive systems may be required. And so it's not just the disaster, it's the preparation, the early warning, the ability to know what may be coming to harm the citizens of this nation. And so as a Congress, we should be cognizant of the role that we play in providing the resources, the direction, and the authorization for those agencies that are able to have the technologies to perceive, to understand what may be coming to the citizens of this nation and those around the world.